People rarely hide who they really are. Most of the time, they reveal it much earlier than we realize. The signals are there from the beginning. The real problem is that most people ignore them. When we meet someone new, the mind often focuses on what the person says, their explanations, their opinions, their stories about themselves. But words are only a small part of how people reveal their character. Human behavior is full of small patterns, and these patterns appear very quickly, often within the first few conversations. For example, notice how someone reacts when something small goes wrong: a delayed message, a minor disagreement, an unexpected change of plans. These moments seem insignificant, but they reveal something important. Because when situations are slightly uncomfortable, people stop performing, and their natural behavior appears. Some individuals become impatient immediately. Others remain calm and flexible. Some people blame others. Others focus on solving the situation. These reactions may seem small, but they reveal deeper patterns. Patterns of responsibility, patterns of emotional control, patterns of how someone handles pressure. Another signal appears in how people talk about others. Listen carefully when someone describes colleagues, friends, or past partners. Do they constantly criticize? Do they portray themselves as the victim in every story? Do they describe conflicts where everyone else was wrong? These narratives often reveal more about the speaker than about the people they describe, because the way someone interprets social situations reflects how they see the world. People also reveal themselves through consistency. What someone says once may not mean much, but what they repeat over time begins to form a pattern. Someone may claim to value honesty, but if their behavior repeatedly avoids difficult truths, the pattern tells a different story. Another person may say they are calm, but if small frustrations repeatedly trigger emotional reactions, the pattern becomes visible. This is why observant individuals focus less on isolated moments and more on repeated behavior, because patterns rarely lie. The interesting part is that these signals usually appear early, sometimes in the first few interactions, but many people overlook them. Why? Because the human mind prefers positive interpretations, especially in the beginning of relationships, friendships, partnerships, professional collaborations. We often focus on the potential we see in someone instead of the behavior they are already showing us. But over time, the same patterns tend to repeat. The impatience, the defensiveness, the responsibility, the integrity. These patterns rarely appear suddenly. They were usually present from the beginning, just in smaller forms. People often say that someone changed, but more often, the signals were always there. They were simply ignored. Understanding this changes how we observe human behavior, because instead of waiting for dramatic evidence, we begin noticing the small signals early. Not to judge people harshly, but to understand them more clearly. Because most of the time, people reveal exactly who they are, much sooner than we expect. The question is simply whether we are paying attention.